I use this for everything. How did I live without this before? I live in a Sprinter van full time and was using an induction burner for cooking, but since I've gotten this little gem, I haven't used the induction burner once. This is so easy to use, and it's the perfect size for 1 or 2 people. I've been making a lot of stews, and I'll sauté the onions, carrots, and meat. If I'm using meat, then add everything else, seal it, and set it for 7 minutes on high pressure. I let it release naturally and have a perfectly cooked, tasty meal every time. This gives me enough for 4 or 5 servings. I also quick soaked beans the other day by covering them with water, hitting pressure for 5 minutes. Then letting it release naturally and let it sit not on keep warm for a couple of hours. I'll often make dinner right after I reheat my lunch, and make sure the keep warm function is on. I'm able to drive with it in my sink and have a hot, healthy, delicious meal waiting for me when I'm done driving. I've even baked banana bread in it. So exciting, because I don't have an oven. It turned out so good. I used one of the containers and the lid from my to-go-ware stainless steel lunch container to bake it in on the rack. Because this cooks so quickly, it is very easy on my solar system. I can reheat leftovers on sauté in 4 minutes, and it's only drawing 67A while it's on. I did have a Vita clay that I absolutely loved for making beans, and especially bone broth, but it takes much longer to cook and is heavier. So, more battery drain, more storage space, and more weight as compared to the Instant Pot Mini, and the Mini wins on each count.
I was loving my Instant Pot, bragging to all about it. Making my dog's food was so easy. I put in the food and the water, pressed pressure cook, and like magic it was just done when it beeped. Getting used to the pressurization wasn't hard at all. It wasn't really difficult to use. Until last week. My pot just didn't turn on. I tried other outlets and other electronics, so it was not the outlet. I moved the pot to a different outlet, nothing. It was the pot. The manual gave explicit troubleshooting directions based on what is wrong. Not turning on meant that the circuit board blew and it advised to call support, which I did. When you call, an automated message tells you to go online and put in a ticket because this is clearly a company that doesn't want to be bothered talking to their customers. So I do this. A day later, no response. So I email again asking for help. This time I email them the same information. Didn't hear from them until Friday. I needed my pot fixed on Tuesday. On Thursday though I had had enough and called Amazon, who thankfully knows how to treat customers, and were able to refund me the product, and I shipped it back to them. The pot was less than a year of purchase and within warranty after all. Even Amazon tried getting a hold of the company and they couldn't get a response. Beware of this brand. I would look for another pressure cooker because when it breaks, and it likely will, you won't be getting help for days.
I've been using the 6 quarts IP, but always had way too much food left over. I bought the 3 quarts mini for use in our camping trailer. However, I ended up dragging it home and using it there. It's a perfect size for just the wife and myself. Things have gotten to the point that my wife says, I don't want to cook. Pull out the little pot IP mini and make dinner, spaghetti, soup, whatever. My fault for becoming proficient with the use of the Instant Pots. When we have company to dinner, I use the 6 quarts IP. I love it. Just had to order a stainless 3 quarts liner pot for it with a silicone lid, in case I need to put something in it in the refrigerator, or use it to cook something separately. This pot is designed to not work. The surface area of the pressure indicating valve is too small for the weight of the valve to be lifted by steam pressure. Result? The valve stays open and the pot simply boils away the liquid inside and does not build pressure. The solution is to use an implement of some sort to manually pull the indicating valve up into a sealed position once the pot starts to make steam. If this is not done, the valve will not lift and seal and water will simply boil away. It is important to note that this is not due to a dirty valve, a sticky valve, insufficient liquid, or any malfunction. Rather, it is designed into the pot. Ours will be relegated to stock pot duty as we have found it to be totally unusable as a pressure cooker.
Day 1 with the new toy. Chuck roast, baby carrots, fresh thyme, rosemary and garlic, a whole onion, beef broth, salt and pepper. Seared both sides for about 5 minutes on the sauté setting, then used the meat setting for 65 minutes. The meat literally fell apart as I was pulling it out of the pot. A huge hit on its first run. We have a bone-in leg of lamb thawing out now for tomorrow night.
I am not sure what happened here, because I know this is a good product. I attempted to cook food, my first run, and 15 minutes later the entire machine is in smokes. Quickly filled my kitchen and house with a horrid smoke of burnt plastic. There were sparks coming off the bottom of the machine while it was turned on. I quickly unplugged the machine and turned it over to inspect the counter. I asked myself what would have happened if it had caught fire, or exploded in my face. The sound it was making seemed like it was going to. As you see, the plastic melted, it was liquid all over my counter, and it was not easy to clean off the counter or my tainted hands. The bottom of the machine and remaining wires were bright, scalding red. I ruined kitchen towels, had to shower again before going to work. I was running late because of the ordeal I had to deal with. Forced to eat out with my wife because just wasted the food being cooked, which was about to be amazing. ... The worst thing is I am writing this and the machine goes in smokes for no reason. What do I do? This thing is just going in smokes unplugged. This is terribly